So today we're talking about how not to be self-destructive by gaining your emotional balance. Meaning how to balance your emotions and keep in mind that you also need to use your mind. Some neuroscientists calls that brain-heart coherence. Specifically, that means that we're not able to make our decisions only from our heart, but we also shouldn't be using only our brain. So we should have connection between two of these, so we are able to make clear and healthy decisions for ourselves that are really, coherent and come from our real desire and needs. What does it mean to be emotionally out of balance, and how does it affect us? Being emotionally out of balance is definitely one side of the self-destructive behavior. Because when you are emotionally out of balance, you don't feel well, you have a bunch of negative emotions, you are overwhelmed with them. And how does it show? What can it be? So being emotionally out of balance means that you either avoid your emotions, you put them under the rug. We're so good in doing that. That's like, how do we deal with emotions? We don't. We just send them somewhere in our brain, somewhere deep, far away from us, so we don't have to think about them, we don't have to deal with them, we're suppressing them, we're avoiding them. The other side of being emotionally unavailable or out of balance is to be so attached to your emotions, so not able to let them go, that you become overwhelmed. And then the obsessions comes, you start worrying about everything, you are 100% in your emotion. When you are 100% in your emotion, that's really not healthy. That's completely losing your mind, you're not using your brain, you're not coherent. So what does emotional balance really stand for? What does it mean? It means that you feel whatever comes to you, and whatever comes up, you take it without being overwhelmed. You learn to accept it, to accept your feelings, but without judgment. You try, to acknowledge how you feel about something, but you don't judge yourself. You don't start negative self-talk because of how you feel. You don't put those feelings aside. You don't judge yourself. You're just aware that you are angry, happy, sad, whatever the emotion is, and you acknowledge it. As humans, we always avoid pain. We don't want to be in pain, physical, emotional, we just don't want to be in pain. And ironically, the more we avoid pain, the more pain sometimes we get. Because if we avoid the pain of present moment, of our emotions or something that's going on at the moment, temporarily it works. It gives us, putting under the rug, it gives us temporary gratification and we feel well, but in long term, it just brings more suffering. So if you're not dealing with your emotions, you can be 100% sure that in the long term, you're going to deal with some more suffering. There were even some scientific, studies from psychologists that have proven that people who put off their negative emotions or things they have to deal with, they suffer more later on. So more you avoid, more you suffer. If we don't talk about them or we just keep avoiding them, they come out somewhere sideways, either as a behavior. Emotionally we close up, we are emotionally not available, we become hostile, we get different somatic experiences. If you are constantly feeling angry and you're not thinking about where it comes from, why am I angry? Why am I rageous? Why am I going nuts? You're definitely hurting your body. And then when we talk about psychosomatic illness or disease, that's where it comes from. When you are putting off your emotions, you can be 100% sure that sooner or later your body will feel some somatic, there will be some disbalance, and you will feel it as some sort of probably disease. So in a way, our body or our whole thing, what we are, our physical body, our emotions, our spiritual part, our energy, is like a pressure cooker. And you know how it is. You put something into pressure cooker, you boil it, you have safety caps, you have, whole pressure system, and the lid that's under pressure. And if you're not releasing that steam slowly, that pressure cooker will, if you don't release it, it will explode. The same thing happens with our body. The same thing happens with our emotions. If we are putting them off and we're not releasing slowly that steam, that anger, that emotions, that everything that's inside of us that's boiling, we're gonna get an explosion. This explosion, or even better, implosion, it's gonna be either as a disease or as enormous amount of stress, or on the other side, in our behavior, we will close up, we will not be available to anyone anymore, we will be angry to everyone, we will blame everyone else for our own behavior. So how to be emotionally balanced? How to balance yourself when you don't feel well? Well, the first and main thing is to know that all of our feelings are temporary. If you feel angry, in 90 seconds you can feel better. If you feel sad, you can change your behavior. You can rewire your brain and start thinking differently. So first step would be to definitely be aware of how you feel. Notice your emotions. How do you feel at the moment when you feel some sort of, disbalance? What does it do to you? And where it comes from? Be aware of it. When you get to that point that you are aware of it, you can even use the body scan technique. Put your hands on different parts of your body and check how you feel. What does it say to you? Well, why are you feeling angry? When you feel angry, put your hands on your kidneys. Kidneys are center of anger. And check what's going on. Why are you angry? Why is my body angry? What's bothering me if you're not sure what it is? Anger is definitely also connected with necks and shoulders. Identify particular emotions in parts of your body. Sadness, your chest. When you're sad, you will feel, your heart itching and you don't feel very well. You feel kind of pressure here. Sometimes even it leads to anxiety attacks, heart beating, sweating, panic attacks. You start feeling overwhelmed, especially when you're not able to let go. And if you're type that doesn't let go and that's very overly attached to your emotion, then definitely anxiety, huge anxiety is one of the signs. Fear you will feel in your stomach, in solar plexus, as ulcer, as issues with your spleen, with your stomach, with your pancreas. That's where fears come from, lack of identity. Joy, you feel warmth in your body, you feel happy, you know that something is well. We're not talking only about negative emotions. Sometimes we need to deal with overwhelming happiness. And then when you have, realize what is it, where it comes from, when you're aware of it, put it in words. This is the best way to set boundaries to someone and to yourself, but also on the other side, to become aware even more. I feel angry. I feel anxious. I feel sad. I don't feel well. There is something bothering me. And those feeling statements are something that really comes from your body. It doesn't come from your head, because when you state something that you're feeling something, you cannot say it from your head, because feeling comes from certain specific part of your body. That's very important for women especially, because feminine energy comes from the feeling statements. When you are stating how you feel, you will not say, oh, I think this is this and that. I think I'm angry. No, you will say, I feel angry. Masculine energy is more in brain and thinking. That doesn't mean that girls, we don't think. It just means that our statements are more feeling statements, and masculine one, regarding the even emotional balance, are more I think, I acknowledge, that kind of wording. So when you put those emotions into words, and response intentionally, you also set boundaries. When you want to set boundaries to someone who maybe put you out of balance, this is the best way. I don't feel comfortable with what you're doing. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not happy how this works. And Then we got to get to the point of emotional self-regulation. How do we self-regulate? First, we identify again, we observe without overwhelming, without judging ourselves. And then we get to the point of self-soothing. How can we self-soothe ourselves? Well, one way is definitely meditation. Taking a walk, hiking, walk on the beach, talk to someone. That's a very good way to, self-regulation. And then in the end, accept and approve your emotions. If you're approving your emotion and acknowledging it, that doesn't mean that you're approving them in a bad way. It means that you are allowing yourself to feel that way, but it also means that you maybe don't approve something that happened or someone did something to you. You don't need to approve that part, but you need to allow yourself to feel that. If you are in a state of being emotionally imbalanced, if you need help, a lot of things and most of the things you can deal with through my Become a Superhero of Your Own Life workshop and program that lasts for 4 weeks. Only on Saturdays we have live group calls and you have 2 additional sessions one-on-one with me, and it starts next Saturday. Today I'm setting a post with more details, but definitely if you need a lot of emotional balance and coherence between your mind and heart, this is the best place for you and to change something and to really, really become a superhero of your own life. Thank you and see you tomorrow.